Final Fantasy VII Remake has finally come out, and with it, theories and questions have appeared all over the place. One that's really caught my attention was, of course, the flashback with Zack. Many people are so confused and speculating that he survives this time. People are believing this since, at the end of the game, you defeat the Whispers. The Whispers are beings that keep the course of destiny, similar to the one in the original Final Fantasy VII. And now that they're defeated, the story could completely change and massive outcomes are going to be different. For example, the ending shows light particles falling from the sky, and then a shot of Biggs opening his eyes and waking up, meaning he's probably survived, which was not at all in the original game. So since that's happened, people are believing that maybe Zack actually survived instead of dying. Which is very possible, but I want to go over why I don't think that's definitely going to happen. So here's my take on it, which I hope to God is true. I think Zack will still die without a doubt, or it will massively complicate things in the story. I think the remake wants to make a hybrid of Zack's death from Crisis Core and the original. Zack is surprisingly shown defeating the Shinra army in the remake, but is still left injured and shown dragging Cloud towards the cliff, and as he's dragging him towards the cliff, it cuts out and you don't see anything else. So people are automatically assuming that he's surviving just because they don't show his death. However, going back to the original game, there was no army. Instead, he gets brutally ambushed by 3 soldiers from behind, and in the remake Zack is still weak from just being an entire army. So maybe these 3 soldiers will ambush him whilst he's injured, which makes a lot more sense for his death, because 3 soldiers versus Zack doesn't really make that much sense. But if he just defeated an army and then they get him from behind, I think that's got a lot more merit to it. I like the idea of them combining Crisis Core and the original game, as if you take a look at the Buster Sword, the hilt's different, but the design of the Buster Sword is the one from Crisis Core, and the hilt's from the original game, which is just an example of the hybridness this game's trying to do. But as Zack is carrying Cloud towards the cliff, he could easily get ambushed from behind because he thinks he's killed the whole army, which it shows in the remake. But it's very likely that 3 will just come out of nowhere and get him by surprise, thus combining 2 fates of Zack into one for the remake. Also, another thing to add, he's fighting the army during the daytime, and when he finishes fighting the army, it's still daytime, unlike when he died in Crisis Core and the original, it was both raining and starting to get dark. But as he's dragging Cloud towards the cliff, it starts raining and getting dark, which reinforces the fact that he will probably die there still. I think a lot of confusion of this is coming from the fact that the Whispers have been destroyed and the fact that Zack's death wasn't actually shown. So it is very possible that he might survive, which will completely mess up the story, but it's something they might do. I think having Zack survive would really completely mess the story up, as Cloud basically becomes a false persona of Zack. So without his death, Cloud wouldn't become this fake person, which he's shown to be in the remake still. Whilst I really do hope and pray this will be the outcome, there are some arguments against it. That being, just after Zack defeats the army, an explosion knocks him over, which is from Cloud and the gang destroying the Whispers in their time, allowing for control over destiny. Which is then followed by light particles falling. These are the same light particles which supposedly healed Biggs and changed the fate for him. So it's possible that these light particles will symbolize change for Zack's fate too. Although the weird thing is, the Whispers don't actually get defeated until after he's defeated the army. Which is strange, it means that he would have defeated the army regardless. Even though the fate has changed, it didn't change until after he killed them all. So that basically means he would have defeated the army no matter what, which is a massive change from Crisis Core. This is just my take on the whole situation, and the one that makes the most sense to me. I hope some of you agree with my theory on the matter, and if not, just leave your theory on it down below. I'd like to read it. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe there's something I'm missing. Oh, also, did anyone notice there's a crisp packet that flies towards the screen and has a picture of a puppy on? I thought that was a great reference to the phrase Zack the puppy, as he's referred to in Crisis Core. But anyway, yeah, thanks for watching.